everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you know how we do it over here. We do our shout outs first. So let's do it. I'm going to run that beautiful bean footage. All right, y'all, I want to give a quick shout out to all of the readers who decided to come on through and support your girl because I appreciate y'all so very much. And first up is the one, the only Yulette. Yes, Yulette. She is so kind. She's so faithful. And she is just unbelievable. She is always coming through. She's always supporting. She is my co-pilot. She is the quintessential reader. She is. And I am so blessed to have her. So thank you, Yulette. Thank you for the super thanks. But most of all, thank you for being here. And Tiger Mommy came through. Yes, Tiger Mommy is everything. And she knows she's everything. She is kind. She is sweet. She is smart. She's generous. She is the best. She is, and I am so grateful to have her. So thank you, Tiger Mommy. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and let me tell you, we have stuff to talk about. We do. We do. First up, we're going to talk about how one of Charles Spencer's twin daughters, Eliza, has come out in support of Harry and Meghan. She was out and about promoting her new wine, and so, of course, they had to ask her about Harry and Meghan. So she absolutely threw her support behind Harry and Meghan. My whole thing is, what did they expect her to do? It is so ridiculous, these people. Anybody who comes in contact with Harry and Meghan, they don't have to be Harry's cousin either. They can be someone who served them a pizza at one time. And they will do a full article about if Harry and Meghan like anchovies on their pizza or not. This is how crazy this thing has gotten, that anybody who is adjacent to Harry and Meghan in some way, in some form or fashion, is always asked about Harry and Meghan. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the security. That is still a big issue. And it looks like calmer heads are starting to prevail. A lot of people are really talking about it is craziness if Harry and Meghan do not have armed security. So we're going to talk about that, what we have learned, what's going on, and we're going to talk about how it's finally dawning on all the flying monkeys, all the derangers, the toadies, the trolls, and the ugly old hags that Harry and Meghan aren't broke. They're not coming back to the UK because they're broke. And I just love seeing the light bulb above their head flicker, flicker, and then come on. It is a wonderful thing because they are starting to put 2 plus 2 together and actually getting 4 and realizing all the lies that they have told, all the narratives they have pushed are not grounded in facts at all. It is speculation. It came from a fever dream. And we're going to talk about Norway's royal family and what's going on over there. It looks like the king maybe has passed away and they're waiting to announce it. So, yeah, it looks like Epstein's girl is going to be the queen of Norway. Y'all know that I call Willie and Kitty future king and queen dumb as a rock. But compared to Holcomb and Marit, I think that's the way you pronounce her name, Marit. Yeah, they look like future King and Queen Einstein. How embarrassing for Norway. And we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, I'm gonna drag them. I got to. Because Holcomb, I think that's his name, future King Holcomb. I think that's the way you pronounce it. He is a idiot. And he is getting skull dragged up and down these internet streets. He is. I mean, putting that trollop on the throne. How embarrassing. What a black cloud over that monarchy. Yes, we're going to talk about that as well. And of course, I got some other things sprinkled in there. Y'all know me, I be digging. And y'all know what y'all need to do. Y'all need to buckle up and understand that I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. And we're going to start with this. And as you can see, this was in the Mirror. The title of the article is Prince Harry's cousin, Lady Eliza, tells of her excitement at his arrival back in Britain. Exclusive. Lady Eliza Spencer spoke to the Mirror just hours after Prince Harry and his family landed back in Britain on a private jet from California to Birmingham on Wednesday. And like I said, it wasn't much to the article. She talked about how happy she was to have Harry and his family back in Britain. She was out and about promoting her own brand of wine, a rosé, and of course they wanted to tie in her brand with As Ever. So yeah, everything when it comes to those rags over there, they want to talk about Harry and Meghan. You can be out doing your own thing, and they want Harry and Meghan to be somehow brought up. And that is what happened with Lady Eliza. And Zanny Sussex posted that same article and said the Spencer family are completely unapologetic about their love and support for Harry and Meghan. I bet they're super excited. And this squatty posted that same article and said, all the Windsors are doing is making themselves look like they are in the outside looking in, and that doesn't scream power nor ruler. It screams a declining monarchy. They are steadily alienating themselves from the public sympathy. They look like bidders. I love that Lady Eliza said that she'll be happy to visit Prince Harry, Meghan, and their children. Yeah, it looks like the Spencers have their arms open wide for the Sussexes. And this squatty posted that same article and said, wow, the Spencer family is on one accord when it comes to Harry and Meghan. What a breath of fresh air. Asked about the Sussexes landing back in Britain, Lady Eliza Spencer told the Mirror, absolutely, it's exciting. We would love to be able to find some time to visit. Now, this is what the article said. It's like I said, it's not much to it. It says Princess Diana's niece is keen to build a family bond with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle now that they're back in the UK. It says the Duke's cousin, Lady Eliza Spencer, daughter of Diana's brother Charles Spencer, spoke at an official launch of her rosé brand, Layla 5, at Knightsbridge Drinks Retail, Hackton, on Wednesday night, just hours after Harry and Meghan landed in Birmingham. And it says Lady Elijah, 34, has followed in the footsteps of Harry's wife, Meghan, 45, by launching a rosé brand. The Duchess of Sussex released her own 22-pound Napa Valley rosé wine, and then they go into all the nonsense. But yes, that's pretty much what the article is about. Anybody close to Harry and Meghan, Anybody that is somehow adjacent to Harry and Meghan is going to be asked about Harry and Meghan because they're not going to get anything except plate after plate after plate of dust from Harry and Meghan. So they're going to poke around the fringes, trying to get anybody to say anything about Harry and Meghan so they can write an article to put in their rags. These people are desperate, and it shows. But now we're going to change gears and we're going to talk about Harry and Meghan's security. It's a lot of chatter here on these internet streets, I must say. I mean, squatties are going back and forth if they have security, if they don't, if they were promised security and they are not getting it, they are reneging on it. I'm telling you, squatties don't know what to think. I don't know what to think because this is not like Harry, not to secure adequate security before he brought his family to the UK. So it's a lot of talk, it's a lot of side eyes, and it's a lot of defense of Prince Harry. And Chris Ship was on the evening news talking about Harry and Meghan's security. I'm going to play the video clip and we'll talk on the other side.
Well, they're back. Harry and Meghan made a low-key return to Britain. They flew in on a private plane to Birmingham Airport. And Chris is here to talk about all this, as you would expect. I mean, they're back, but quite a lot hasn't been answered. Their security, the attitude of their family.
Both very good questions, Tom. Yes, security and family. Let me start with security. When Harry and Meghan and the two young children touched down in Birmingham just before midday today, there was no police welcome. There was no security for them. They didn't have a police escort when they left. The reason they've come back quite so quickly, I think it was this time last week that you were breaking the news on this programme, is that English schools start next week and they want their children to be back and get rid of the 8-hour jet lag before they start school next week. But the security issue is not resolved. Now, given that they are now resident in the UK, they were rather hoping that it would be resolved by now, but it's not. Look, there are two schools of thought here. There's the people who say, you left the royal family, you've got no right to security, stop moaning about it. And then there's the school of thought which Harry puts forward, which is, I am the son of the king, I'm fifth in line to the throne, my children are sixth and seventh, I fought in Afghanistan, the Taliban have made death threats against me, plenty of people outside the royal family have security. Why am I any different? And they're still hoping that residency in the UK will change all that. Now, as for your second question about family, I don't think there's going to be a card on the doormat for Harry and Meghan from his brother, William and Kate. There's no bunting going to be sort of hanging out to welcome them home. But at least we know that his father, the king, welcomes the opportunity to see his son and his grandchildren much more often. And given everything with the king's health, I think everyone will, of course, welcome that.
Okay, Chris, we'll see. Thank you very much indeed. Now, they
continue to say that Harry and Meghan do not have security. I mean armed security. I mean the security that is provided by Ravak. Now, what y'all think about that? I don't even know what to think about it. It is so much conversation on these internet streets about if Harry should have done this in the first place if security was not in place. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Are the flying monkeys lying about Harry and Meghan's security? You think Harry and Meghan are over there in the lion's den, as one of the squatties I saw today described Britain, the lion's den, without adequate security? Are the flying monkeys lying? We know that they lie like they breathe air. So it's a possibility that they're lying, but I don't know. And this was a thought that came to me. Do y'all think that they gave permission for Harry's private security to carry guns? Do you think they gave Harry and Meghan's private security access to intelligence when it comes to Harry and Meghan? Y'all know that that was the biggest sticking point for Harry. This is the reason why he was suing Rayvac for his security, because he wanted access to the intelligence and he wanted his security to be armed. And if this has happened, maybe this is the reason why Harry was comfortable enough to bring his family to the UK. I keep saying that it is so much that we don't know. And I am holding my judgment because I don't know. I have no idea. And I am very comfortable in saying that I don't know what's going on. Any British readers that might know, we have so many smart people here in our tribe. I don't know. That was just a thought that come across my mind that maybe this is, what is happening here, because it's always more than one way to skin a cat. And it could be that Harry and Meghan's security has been granted some kind of special permission to carry guns. I hope so. I hope that is what's going on here. Because if they are, Harry and Meghan do not need their state funded security, because they would be safer if their bodyguards were their main security. Because let's be for real, we trust Harry and Meghan's bodyguards, their security, much more than we do the security of Rayvac and the Met Police, because we know what they're about. Y'all tell me what y'all think of my idea, my theory in the comments. And this is what Chris Ship posted. He said, latest on Harry and Meghan in the UK, still no security. They only have a police phone number to call. Harry's lawyer wrote to the Home Secretary urging her to intervene personally. Former police officer who guarded Prince Charles says decision put Sussexes in danger. Now, what do y'all think about this? I have to admit, I don't know what to think about this. Because if this letter is true, that Harry wrote a letter, well, his lawyer wrote a letter to the Home Secretary asking her to intervene in this situation, I'm speechless. I cannot speak. Y'all tell me what y'all think, because I'm speechless. I am speechless. It is a lot of chatter on these internet streets about what's going on here. And it's not looking good for Harry. I'm just saying. We love Harry, but it's not looking good for him. At least, people are questioning his decision making here. I don't know, but I still say it's a lot going on, behind the scenes. But I'm still giving Harry the side eye. I am. I'm just saying, I got to give him the side eye until we find out more. This is the article that Chris Ship wrote, and the title of the article is Decision Not to Protect Harry and Meghan Put Them in Danger, says ex-royal officer. It says Prince Harry has still not been given any state-funded security despite his high-profile return to the UK with his wife and children. A former police officer who used to protect the then Prince Charles said that it was putting the Sussex family in danger. The Duke of Sussex landed in Birmingham with Meghan, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibet on Wednesday for the start of their new life in Britain, but they have been told their protection will not be increased beyond being given a phone number of a police liaison officer. The former Metropolitan Police Protection Officer, who was responsible for King Charles when he was the Prince of Wales, told ITV News that the decision was incredible. There you have it. What you think? Put it in the comments. I don't know what to think. And this squatty posted this under Chris Ship's post, And it says, if the state or any institution is allowed to weaponize security in this way, it could lead to a future where individuals feel pressured into silence, conformity, or self censorship just to avoid losing protection. That's a slippery slope towards authoritarianism, where power can be used to suppress dissent and maintain control over individuals' lives. That's exactly what they're trying to do with Harry and Meghan. They can't control them, so they're using security to control them. And I don't even know. I want to put out a lot of different theories, but I want to wait before I put out any theories, any more theories. I put out quite a few theories, but I'm going to wait until I see a little more of what's going on here. The puzzle pieces are not all fitting together yet, but the minute they really start coming together for me, we're going to talk about it because there's something going on here. I'm thinking that Harry and Meghan are trying to achieve something here. I don't know. It's not clear yet, so we're not going to talk about it. But as soon as the puzzle pieces, like I said, start to come together more, we're going to talk about it. And the squatty that posted this said, who is leaking you security information? It's obvious it's King Charles III and Prince William endangering 2 adults and 2 children. At Chris Ship ITV, if a target is a school, what is that? At Shabana Mahmood and at Royal Family going to say, this is abuse of power and abuse of office. It is. It absolutely is. Harry is the son of the king, and you're going to give him a phone number to a liaison to the police? That's the security that you're going to give him. And he's probably the highest risk role it is. I can't help but to think about what Kaiser said in my last report that I read in one of her articles, that family forgets that Harry and Meghan are global. This is a global situation. And they act like people cannot see what they're doing. The world is watching them, and they're not coming off very good. They're not. When you are not willing to protect your grandchildren, I'm just saying. Y'all tell me what y'all think about all of this. And this squatty is saying that she doesn't believe any of it. She says if Harry and Meghan brought Prince Archie and Princess Lily to spend time in the UK, I'm positive they've sorted adequate security. Guessing and lying about Harry and Meghan's security and plans is desperation. You have no idea about the conversations between lawyers and Home Office. You know nothing. Do y'all agree with this, squatty? I must say, I don't know what to think. I am puzzled. I am. But as time goes by, we will learn more and more. And like I said, I just got my puzzle pieces laying out on the table. Now, nothing is fitting right now, but as they come together, we will have a conversation. I don't know what to think right now. I don't. I'm honest about it. I don't. I want to play this video clip. This is a conversation that was being had over there at Sky News, and it's about Harry and Meghan's security. And it looks like it is a lot of people, more than usual, continue to use common sense. I'm going to play it and we'll talk on the other side.
The state has a duty to protect people at risk. It's as simple as that. So I try and keep the subjectivity out of it and just look at this objectively. And my view is, if you look at this objectively, Prince Harry should receive state protection.
With the Sussexes returning to the UK, these questions surrounding security and whether or not they should have taxpayer-funded security, so police protection when they are here, still haven't been resolved, it seems. And this has always been one of the big problems Prince Harry has had when it comes to, as he would put it, bringing his family safely back to the UK. He has always argued it simply wouldn't be possible without police protection, purely because they are tapped into intelligence systems. They're allowed to carry weapons, for example. Now, we know that a risk assessment has been carried out, but the outcome of that risk assessment, which looks at a person's vulnerability to threat and the amount of threat they might face, the outcome of that is still unclear. But it's very interesting hearing from Scott Hamer there. He worked for 2 decades with royal security. He worked with the King for 5 years, in the 5 years leading up to the King becoming the King just before the Queen died. He wrote protection policy. He knows this system. He says it's simply unbelievable that a meeting of what's called the Risk Management Board should take months and months. He says it is simply a meeting of, in many cases, 3 people to sit down and discuss this. He makes a very valid point there, and he says that Prince Harry, in admitting that he's had to pay for his own security on recent trips to the UK, is in many ways showing an increased vulnerability, purely because at the moment he will not have armed police with him. Therefore, people can be aware of that, and there remains this very significant risk for him.
Did y'all hear that? Common sense. And he kind of let the cat out the bag, didn't he? That this should not be a big deal. Only 2 or 3 people can meet and Harry and Meghan can have their security. He pretty much said that the reason why they don't have their security, somebody is standing in the way, because it doesn't take months to do this. I mean, I love that this is being shown on national television in Great Britain, so they can really see who their king and future king is, how hateful they are, how evil they are, how uncaring they are about Harry. I mean, the exposure is real, and I love it for them. They don't seem to understand. It's not just the people in Great Britain watching this. The world is watching this, and they're not looking good. Like I said earlier, they're really not coming off as what they project themselves to be, as a global brand. Yeah, they're looking pretty trash. That's all I'm saying. And I love this for them. Now, this came from that Tom Thumbhead Sykes over there at the Daily Beast, and it says, opinion. Many view that King is working to get Harry state-funded security as a betrayal of his broader family and his duty, writes Tom Sykes. Now, we know that Tom Thumbhead Sykes is a Kensington Palace mouthpiece. Yes, he is the one that Willie cry his cup of salty tears and take him over there, and he writes garbage like this. So he's saying that if Charles helps Harry to get state-funded security, he is betraying the broader family. Can you believe this garbage? I cannot believe that these people are allowed to print such craziness. It is crazy. And Willie is so evil. He does not care anything about Harry and his family. Why? Because he sees them as a threat. Why? Because he knows that Harry is better than him at everything. And Harry married a better wife than he did, who is in return head, shoulders, knees, and toes above Kitty. And he is so mad that people are more interested in Prince Archie and Princess Lily than they are of the Wells children. And this is all that's going on with Willie. And he is trying to force Charles to choose. Well, it looks like Charles has already chose. If Harry gets that state-funded security back, Charles has already chosen. And if he has, he chose well because he's getting older. And we know how they did the poor aging queen when she was aging. They did her so wrong. And he has an heir that's even more treacherous than he was to the queen. If Willie catches him slipping, he absolutely will take him out. And he'll do him even dirtier than he did Queen Elizabeth. So he needs Harry. He needs Harry for protection from William. And SK says, shut up, William. Yes, that's nobody but William with his insecure arse. I mean, they ran over there to Tom Thumbhead Sykes with his cup of salty tears, and this is what he came up with. If you leave my brother out there with no security, at risk of being killed, then you love me more than you love him. That man is sick. Willie is absolutely a mental case. And Zanny Sussex posted this same article from Tom Thumbhead Sykes with a little alteration and said, Tom Sykes is singing hard for his supper. By the way, many people mean William and Kate. And as you can see, Zanny fixed it up where it says opinion. William and Kate view the king working to get Harry's state-funded security as a betrayal of them and his duty, writes Tom Sykes. Exactly. This is nothing but Willie and Kitty. I don't know what to think, y'all. I don't know if Charles is really helping Harry and Meghan, and this is all, a plan on how to get this state-funded security, because look at this, what came down my timeline. And it's from Russell Myers from over there at the Mirror. And it says, exclusive, Prince Harry has fresh hope for getting taxpayer-funded security as the Home Secretary orders a new review into terror threats against the Sussexes. Yes, things are starting to move in Harry and Meghan's direction. And now all these people are starting to come out in support of Harry and Meghan receiving taxpayer-funded security, like the former security for Charles. Y'all think that's a coincidence? Y'all know I don't believe in coincidences. It's very funny how Charles's former security guard came out in support of Harry and Meghan receiving tax-funded security. Isn't it funny? He's on Sky News, and Sky News is being very favorable in their coverage of Harry and Meghan receiving taxpayer-funded security. What y'all make of this? Is Tom Thumbhead Sykes right about Charles trying to help Harry and Meghan get their tax-funded security back? And is Richard Maureen Eden right about the government is behind Harry and Meghan coming back? Things are starting to move, and they're moving in Harry and Meghan's direction. And it's looking more and more like the government has something to do with all of this. Now look at this. Another MP has come out in support of Harry and Meghan. Y'all know Mike Tapp. He posted this and said, Prince Harry has landed in the UK apparently with no police protection. Has a decision been made not to provide security? And does that decision stand up to scrutiny? Because if something happens to him or his family, it will need to. Well, another MP, Paul Holmes, he retweeted it and said, Mike is right. He's the son of the king and he didn't choose his birth. I hope all security assessments are being looked at seriously. Threats happen and he has a young family. If protection needs giving, we should give it. Y'all know I've been saying this since the beginning, that I really feel that Richard Maureen Eden was right, that the government wanted Harry and Meghan back. They overruled Charles. They overruled Willie. They wanted to bring Harry back because they know Harry is an asset. And so more and more we're getting stuff like this. And all of a sudden we're getting a fresh new review. What y'all think? Y'all think that maybe my theory about the government wanting Harry and Meghan back might be right? I'm just saying. Y'all put it in the comments. Now I want to change gears a little bit and talk about how the flying monkeys are really starting to figure it out. Yes, the light bulb has started to flicker over their head and come on for a minute or two, meaning they are figuring out that Harry and Meghan did not come home broken or broke. And it is really hurting some of them's feelings because they know, now they're not saying, but they know where Harry and Meghan is staying. And because of that, they know that Harry and Meghan have money. Let's not forget, Harry and Meghan has 3 homes now. Yes, they have a big mansion in Montecito, which almost drove the flying monkeys crazy. And now they also have a home in Portugal and now a huge mansion, from what I'm hearing, in the UK. I'm going to play this and we'll talk on the other side. It is delicious, y'all. Wait, it is delicious.
One of the big issues that we need to try and get some meat on the bones of, if you like, is where they're going to end up living. And you've done some terrific work here. I think it's a Charlotte Griffiths exclusive. Editor-at-large on the Mail on Sunday. We can reveal here on Talk. Where are they going to end up living?
Well, we have to be so careful not to say exactly where they're living. But I suppose the exclusive is that, you know, this rumour that they may live on a small farmhouse on the Spencer estate, or they might be renting somewhere because they've got no money. It appears to be incorrect, because what I am told is that the property they've looked at, or the properties they've been looking at, are north of 10 million. The one that I think I've identified, I actually can't say, because they issued a really, really strong warning, which I must adhere to. Yeah. So we can't name the location. But suffice to say, it is, as you'd expect, you know, it's incredibly luxurious. It's definitely got a kind of LA whiff to it. I have to be so careful not to identify it. But just, I found it very interesting that it's not some sort of dilapidated farmhouse, which at one point was the narrative, that they'd run out of money and they were coming back. It seems that is not the case. You know, the property is extremely expensive.
That right there must really hurt. Yes, and her in particular, because she has been pushing that narrative that Harry and Meghan are broke, that Harry and Meghan are coming back because they want money from the king, and on like hot butter on popcorn. And Harry and Meghan has come into town on a private jet, from what I hear cost $120,000 to charter. And they rolled up with with their own security and rolled into a home that is equally as luxurious as the one in Montecito. I cannot tell you how my heart just leaps with joy watching Charlotte Griffin. Have to say that they had really started to smell their own taint. Yes, they really thought that Harry and Meghan was broke. They came back to beg Charles with their pockets turned out and with their tail between their legs, because all the things that they have done has failed. Yeah. I have never saw someone who has failed who continues to win like Harry and Meghan. They are the winningest failures that I have ever saw in my whole life. And I just love it for these people. I'm telling you, it is absolutely delicious. Is it not? Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. This Squatty posted an article about the staggering cost that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry paid to fly on a luxury private jet to the UK. Yes, they cannot get over the fact that Harry and Meghan did not come back broke or broken. Let's not forget that too. And this Squatty posted about it and said Meghan and Prince Harry dropped six figures to fly on a private jet from Los Angeles to Birmingham. Y'all, I cannot say it without giggling. I am giddy. I am. I love this. I love the way Harry and Meghan is coming on through. Now, if they get their security sorted out, I will be a happy girl. I will. Oh, I'm loving this, y'all. My shoulders are moving. I am happy. I love when Harry and Meghan show them a thing or two. And it says, good for them. It's their money. Yesterday, they said Harry and Meghan was returning because they didn't have money. Today, they are crying because Harry and Meghan are returning with their own money, rich and not broke. And it says Harry and Meghan never had any financial problems. The false narrative that they have financial problems and are returning because they don't have money has never been based on the truth. It has always been rooted in a wet fantasy of the British media and the racists. And don't forget the ugly old hags and the derangers. Woo! They are crying. I'm telling you, they are crying so hard they're holding their stomachs. My timeline is just absolutely flooded with their tears. And let me tell you, they are delicious. And it says, hope that Harry and Meghan will take the bait and fall for the trap and expose how much money they have. The royal family, the British media, and their mouthpiece know nothing about Harry and Meghan's finances. They do not. And I just love it. That is the reason why I went over there and bought some spiced apple butter. Yes, I did. I love this. I do. Y'all remember this from my last podcast? It was from Meredith. She featured it in one of her posts, and it said, Harry and Meghan lands in the UK in a very vulgar private jet. I'm telling you, if they had arrived on a Greyhound, they would have absolutely loved that, but not $120,000 chartered luxury jet. No, they could not handle that because they wanted their narrative. They wanted Harry and Meghan to come back as beggars. And Harry and Meghan came back on a private jet. And Meredith, of course, said, look at this. That's vulgar. Sorry, what? Yes. Charles rolls around in a gold carriage, and they have nothing to say about that. But Harry and Meghan spending their own money on a private jet, oh, that's vulgar. These people need to stop. And this squatty that reposted it said, truth is, they're not actually mad that the Sussexes came in a private jet because As we all know, Harry and Meghan are fierce protectors of Archie and Lily. They're really mad that Harry and Meghan can afford to come in a private jet. Read between the lines, folks. I don't have to read between the lines. I can see that from a mile away without my glasses on. Of course, this is all it's about. Because if you look up the word vulgar, that family would be there in the definition. I mean, rolling around in the streets of London in a golden carriage. Now that's vulgar. And using a luxury helicopter the same as you would use a car. Now that's vulgar. And also using said helicopter to fly over the heads of your peasant subjects who are struggling to feed their family, with the cost of living skyrocketing while you continue to pick their pockets. Now that's vulgar. This squatty said, I don't remember them reacting angrily when they saw this video below. These people are full of hypocritical outrage. Outrage that is only reserved for Meghan and Prince Harry. Meghan or Harry are the Sussexes, while they turn a blind eye to hashtag Prince William and or Kate Middleton, the whales. Harry and Meghan's private flight didn't cost taxpayers anything. They paid for it themselves. We can't say the same about William's helicopter flights. They just hate that Harry and Meghan isn't broke. That right there, that's it. Because they have been lying and lying and lying, saying that Harry and Meghan are not successful, that all of their projects flop, that they are making no money, and they come back to get money from the poor, cancer-stricken king. And in actuality, Harry and Meghan are rolling in the dough. And Meghan is on course to have more money or just as much money as Willie and Kitty does. And Harry and Meghan have 3 homes now. I am loving the sweet taste of victory and those salty tears mixed in from the haters, from the flying monkeys, from the ugly old hags, the trolls, the derangers. Yes, mix it all up and pass me my cup because I am going to guzzle that because it is so delicious. Now, I want to talk about this article that Kaiser wrote about Tom Thumbhead Sykes' latest Substack. And the title of the article is Sykes, Prince Harry and Meghan are gaslighting the public over their return. And I have read this article, and it's not that Meghan and Harry are gaslighting the public. It's the fact that they are mad. All of those flying monkeys are mad because Harry and Meghan has pretty much put a muzzle on them. They're not free to report where Harry and Meghan are staying. They are not free to report where the children are going to school. They are not free to report anything. Harry and Meghan are pretty much setting a trap. This is what Tom Thumbhead Sykes is saying. And that if anybody reports anything that they're not supposed to be reporting, then the kaboom is going to come down on them. And he even had the nerve to bring up Justice Nicklin. Yes, the judge who we know was a plant for the Daily Mail and handed the Daily Mail that victory in that court case after they made Nicklin the judge. And in the prior cases that Harry had brought, Nicklin was the lawyer for the rags. So it was a stitch up. But Tom Thumbhead Sykes, he wanted to bring that up in a manner that somehow Harry should be threatened by that. And to me, that shows clear corruption. And also, these flying monkeys eventually tell the tale. And that's going to come out that the former lawyer slash judge was a plant. But yes, Tom Thumbhead Sykes, he is absolutely dripping with bitterness because he really thought things were going to be different. They are not going like he thought they were going to go. He really thought that he was going to make a lot of money because Harry and Meghan was back and he was going to get all this material. They are going out trying to talk to neighbors, trying to talk to anybody. And because they are unable to get a read on anything that Harry and Meghan are doing, oh, he's mad. He is. But let's get into this article a little bit, and you will see how the bitterness and the vitriol is just dripping from this article that he has, well, this Substack article that he has written. Like I said, the title of the article is Sykes, Prince Harry and Meghan are gaslighting the public over their return. This is what Kaiser says. She says, as I've been saying for the past week, it feels like the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are daring the British press to publish any information about where the family will be living in London, which school the kids will be attending, and where Prince Harry and Meghan will be seen next. So far, the British press and tabloids seem relatively placated by the steady stream of background briefing from Team Sussex. No one has published the Sussex's exact location or hard firm the kids' school yet, but I'm sure it will change, and I have to wonder if Harry and Meghan have a plan in place for when, not if, that information comes out. But for now, everyone is playing along. They are private people, not working royals, and they're under no obligation to give the public or the press any updates on their lives. Well, here's how Tom Sykes is taking it. Harry and Meghan gaslight special. They won't admit they're even in London, y'all. I love this. I love this so much. Because Harry and Meghan continues to serve up plate after plate after plate of nothing but dust. They really thought that since Harry and Meghan was no longer in Montecito serving up plate after plate after plate of dust, that they were really going to get something now that they were in their wheelhouse. Because, you know, that's the terminology that Tom Thumbhead Sykes used when he was talking about Harry and Meghan returning to the UK. Well, now that they're in his wheelhouse, he is getting his daily plate of dust again. And so he is bitter about it. He really is. He really thought things were going to be different. I really think he thought that it was going to be the same way as it was before, that Harry and Meghan would have some kind of obligation to serve themselves up on a platter along with their children. I mean, it is as if they don't understand that Harry and Meghan are not working roles. They have no obligation to the press, to the media. They do not have to give them access to their lives. It's a new dawn and it's a new day. Harry and Meghan owe them nothing. And nothing is what those flying monkeys and those rags over there on Fleet Street is going to get. And I just love it, y'all. I love it. The desperation, it is so sweet on the tongue. But let's get into what he says. He says 6 years later, it was a remarkable full circle moment to see a gigantic, vulgar, private plane land on the tarmac at Birmingham Airport carrying Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lily and their dogs Pula and Mia back to Britain to live. I'm told that the carbon spewing monster wasn't booked via Travelers, the environmentally sustainable travel company that Harry fronts. They are so bitter. Is that not bitter? I'm loving it. He goes on to say, the thinking seems to be that it would undermine their own argument about privacy if they briefed about their movements, or maybe they just believe that they will have the stronger case to sue newspapers that publish details of where they live or where their kids are going to school if they have never said a word about it. I'm not sure Justice Nicklin would be convinced. You see that? That's what I was saying. They know Nicklin is a crook. They know he was a plant. And that right there is a giveaway. I'm just saying. It says the bigger point is that every phone in the Cotswolds is going mad. The WhatsApp groups are afire, and everybody from Stow-on-the-Wold to Fleet Street thinks that they know where the family are going to be living and where the kids are going to be going to school. I certainly do. The level of absurdity we have now reached is that the relationship with the British media is so toxic, so poisonous, so damaged that the couple have arrived and are publicly refusing for legal purposes to say they have arrived. Harry and Meghan will not even tell them if they have arrived or not. I cannot. Oh, the pettiness of it all. I love it. I love it. Says, I've been told by a very reliable source that they have indeed bought a house near the chocolate bar town of Stow-on-the-Wold for a figure between 12 million and 15 million pounds. And Harry and Meghan are supposed to be broke. I love it. And it says, and the kids will be going to the nearby fashionable school that has something of a tree climbing. See, he's trying to give hints to the name of the school. He is so bitter. He is so absolutely bitter. It's eating him up inside. He wants to tell the details so bad, but here he is. I love that they are tortured like this. It says, let the kids be kids vibe. I am not going to identify the house or the school beyond saying that it is not Beaudesert Park, but somebody will. See, he's trying to name the ones that it's not so you can pretty much figure out the one that it is. See how low down and dirty they are? They are so low down, so dirty, and they are so pissed that Harry and Meghan have them in a crack. They do. They have their butt in a crack because if they mumble the name just absolutely under their breath, Harry and Meghan will drag their arses into court. And I love it. I love it for them because they really thought that it was going to be like it was before. Harry and Meghan owe them nothing. They owe that family nothing, and nothing is what they are serving for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I just love it. I'm not going to identify the house or the school beyond saying that, he said what he said, but somebody will because it is so widely known in all of the Cotswold circles that the whole of Fleet Street is spending today trying to establish whether they just sell agreements or if contracts have been exchanged. when massively rich people buy great fat pads in the middle of the country, everybody in the neighborhood talks about it because it's a huge number of normal people make their living serving these estates. That is not a privacy violation. That is the English countryside. See, they are going to be talking to the gardeners. They want to absolutely try to penetrate Harry and Meghan's circle of resistance. And Harry and Meghan has thought this thing out. I just love it. Very, very, very smart move, Harry and Meghan. I love it. And he is absolutely dying inside because he cannot tell it. Ugh! Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. And I'm just going to read a little of Kaiser's summary. And she makes a great point because he is really, putting out there what their excuse for continuing to hound Harry and Meghan and not allowing them to be private citizens. And this is what Kaiser said. But I actually think he is giving us a very real preview of what's facing the Sussexes with this move. And I hope to God that they are prepared and they have real plans in place, because this really is the argument. Complete private individuals who are lobbying the British taxpayer to cover a £5 million a year security bill. I'm sorry, but the idea that nobody is allowed to know what country the fifth in line to the throne and an HRH and a prince and a council of state is living in, or on what basis, or for how long, or under what terms, is self-evidently absurd. That's how they'll justify everything that they are about to do to Harry and Meghan. Yeah, Harry is still Council of State. And if they give him taxpayer security, they're going to use that as justification to hound them to death, constantly in their business, constantly trying to report on them. I mean, they are losing their shit already. You can tell they want to try to do this so badly because at the end of the day, they want to try to make money. Harry and Meghan are money makers. And I'm like Kaiser. I hope Harry and Meghan have plans in place because they're coming for them. They are. And I believe, I'm going to tell you, I believe in Harry and Meghan. I do. They are not naive people. They are not. If I'm betting, I'm always going to bet on Harry and Meghan. I am. So y'all tell me what y'all think. This man is absolutely losing his SHIT because he cannot report on Harry and Meghan, where they're staying, where their kids are going to school, none of that. And my whole thing is, why would you? It's small kids involved. Why would you want to do that? And I can't with these people. I can't. They are so low down. They're so dirty. They're so heartless. They have no souls. These people, where do they get these so-called journalists, these so-called royal reporters? I mean, they have to get them from under the bottom of a rock somewhere because they are just that slimy. Now, I want to report on the Norwegian royals. It looks like their king is not doing so well. This what he posted about it and said the Norwegian people already leaving flowers outside of the Norwegian palace. Strange since the death hasn't been announced yet. Yeah, and they saw that man who is going to be king, that Prince Holcomb, he was wearing black and he was coming from the hospital. So I don't know if the king is going to pass, but boy, he is not leaving the kingdom in good hands when it comes to Holcomb. Because the first real major decision that Holcomb had to make, he chose that wife of his, who is absolutely bottom of the barrel. When you are friends with the most prolific pedo in world history and you call him your friend and you go in and out of his house and you asked him for advice on raising your son, boy, that is just not a good look, Holcomb. It's not a good look. And it's my understanding she used to be a heavy drug user, and that is the reason why she supposedly got a new lung. I'm still not believing that, because we all know the first thing they do when they get in trouble, a royal does, is in the royal handbook. This is Royal 101, that you feign illness. You try to get the sympathy of your people by saying you are critically ill. And that is what I feel this woman has done. And yeah, it is just not a good look for Norway. I must say I had higher expectations for Norway than I did for Great Britain, but like I said, Willie and Kitty are rock stars compared to Holcomb and Marique. Oh my God. And this, what he said, looked like King Harold's health has deteriorated, according to the palace officials. Norway is going to have a Epstein queen after all, who is keeping her apis sexual abuser son inside the palace. Marique, here she comes, as she said she loved her crazy friend J.E. Yeah, Norway, not a good look. And this, what he said, Morris Borg out and about looking like an absolute abuser and ape as he is. Norway is getting ready to have a Epstein queen and her abuser son sitting right beside her on the throne. It is scandalous. It is scandalous. And they had a shot of him at the hospital visiting the king. I mean, this woman has brought international shame upon Norway. And there's no way you can get around that. I mean, this woman was friends with a man who ate little girls. Little girls. And you cannot tell me that she did not know about it. And she did not feel any kind of way about it. She absolutely co-signed all of that nonsense, because when you are friends with somebody, you co-sign their behavior. Because if I found out one of my friends was doing something like that, they wouldn't be my friends for long. I cannot, y'all. I cannot with all this. All right, y'all. Y'all know I love to end on a positive note, and I am going to end with Cookie Queens. Look what Cookie Queens is up to. They want you to host your own screening. It says watch with your troop, office, school, or more. Book now, and you can book it. And the squatty that posted this says, big news, host your own screening of Cookie Queens. Now anyone can organize a public or private screening with your troop, co-workers, school, or community group. I love this idea, don't y'all? Cookie Queens is going to be, it is going to do so well, because they are so imaginative about things. Are they not? I just love it. I want to see the final numbers when it's sold to streamers. Exactly how much money did Cookie Queens bring in? And I think we're going to be really, really pleasantly surprised. All right, y'all. Y'all know I enjoy my time that I spend with y'all, and I will be back soon, I promise. If you want to support the channel, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Look below, look for the 3 dots, click, and you should find the super thanks. And if you find a hype button, also use that one too. Hype your girl up, because it really, really helps to push the podcast out to new eyeballs. And when that happens, we get new people coming to our tribe. We always want our tribe to grow. Also, if you want to be a part of the reading club and become a channel member, it should be a link down there as well. And the super thanks button, if you're watching on television, you should see a heart with a $sign in it. Click that and follow the prompts. And if you're watching on television and you want to be a part of the reading club, click my picture, click join, and follow the prompts. And so many ways to support the channel. In my bio, I have Buy Me a Coffee, I have Zelle, I have PayPal. And if you don't want to do any of that, scurry on over there to patreon.com/The Royal Read. I have a reading club over there as well. Or grab up a free membership, because I'll be posting over there all the time. When I run into something funny or just absolutely shocking, I post it over there, because YouTube is funny. He is. So I don't even try to get away with it on YouTube. I post it over there on Patreon. So yes, get your free membership. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.